How have you've been staying in the gym recently? Throughout these past few weeks, past few months after your fight with McKinson.
Yeah, we actually got back into the gym way faster than we usually do. I think I only had like a week off, and then we just went straight back to the gym, which was really good. I felt like we picked up right where we started. Recently, we went to California to spar, like you mentioned. We spent a few weeks there, got some good sparring in. We came back, right back in the gym. So we're just staying ready for whatever.
Vergil, when the big news came out, obviously, when I heard it, and I was like, oh man, what was your first initial reaction when I was like, oh, Stanionis? Obviously, it was clear that was possibly going to be your next opponent. But when the Golden Boy won the bid, 2.3, what was your initial reaction overall? You're like, man, this is the fight that I needed. This is the fight that's obviously going to put me there. What was your first initial thoughts overall?
I was excited. I was really excited because I feel like it's gonna be hard to make, or I don't think there's really any problem now. But like I thought it would have been harder to make, due to the promotions and stuff. But I'm really excited that Golden Boy won the bid. I'm very hopeful that this fight's gonna happen.
Talking to you recently, knowing you for a while, just don't care. Just let me fight. I want to know. Just set it up anywhere else. I don't care. Just let me fight. Stanionis, Vergil, he's a tough fighter, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, like yourself, he brings a lot. He's gonna bring out the best of you. I've told your dad the past 5 fights, just to say not to underestimate any of the fighters. Like you said, this is gonna be your toughest test up to date.
Yeah.
Can you agree with that?
I think so. Definitely, and I think likewise too to him.
Yes.
We both be each other's toughest test. And it's the fights like these that excite me. That give me that extra drive in the gym to work harder because I know he's working as hard as I am. So it's really exciting. I'm honestly genuinely excited for this fight.
Usually I don't, as me personally, I don't, study the fighters at the moment until it starts getting closer. But obviously you probably know a little bit more about Stanionis than me. But I know he's a European fighter, durable, tough. What is his best attributes that you can just say at the moment that you've seen of Stanionis if you probably watched a couple of fights of his?
I would say that he's like a very persistent power fighter, and he has a pretty good defense, I would say we kind of fight similar.
Yeah, it's a lot of similarities you can say, obviously, but there's point of views of who has what type of attribute. Going into the ring, come fight night, does KO still run in your mind like, hey, this is what I still want to keep that streak? Because I'm not mistaken, you're still one of the only fighters. I think I told you after the fight versus McKinson, say, hey, you're like the only one or just one of the two that still has their KO streak active. Is that something that you still want to keep searching for as facing Stanionis going into fight night?
I would love to keep it going. I would love to. Right now we're just I'm not gonna look for it. If it comes, it comes. Basically, of course, everyone would love to have their knockout streak going, but I'm not gonna force it or anything like that. I'm not gonna try to do a one-hitter quit or anything like that. I'm just gonna hopefully things go right, and I mean that's really all I can hope for. That I can do my job, things go according to plan, and
stick to the game plan, like
Basically,
stick to the game plan. stick to the game plan.
Yeah.
Camp hasn't officially started, but obviously, like we said, you're still staying active. You're still here. When will you start camp? And what is the ideal time for you to start camp for this fight?
Camp technically starts once I get to California, but I've been training. I've been in the gym this whole time.
Like obviously, right now, you started. Mid-work, hitting the bag.
Yeah.
Vergil, this fight potentially, like I've told you, the past 5 fights, and I told your dad these last 5 fights. It's just like you're going up in the rankings. You're going up, competition. Provided that you win come fight night for the WBA regular title, the door's gonna be open to potentially face Earl Spence if he still stays in the weight division, in the welterweight division. If not, he can vacate and you can fight for the vacant title. That's something obviously you're looking forward for. How important would that be for you, for your career? That what it would mean to you, and obviously overall for that, just thinking about that.
I mean, everyone wants to get a world title fight. Everyone wants to win a world title. So I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory right there. But, I would definitely love to get these big fights. That's why I'm here. I'm glad I'm in the toughest division in boxing. That I wouldn't have it any other way because, if I win a world title and it's, I don't want to say easy, but, if it was kind of easy, then it really wouldn't mean a whole lot to me. Like, for instance, I have a lot of belts in the amateurs. I have a big one that's like 35 pounds. I couldn't even lift it up when I won it.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing that I won in a tournament was actually my little medal. It was my 2013 Junior Olympic medal, and it's my favorite because the bracket was set up in a way where I had to fight all the dogs, like back to back to back, and it's my favorite because that I beat the best. I beat all the best back to back to back in all the tournaments. So,
Vergil, just changing the subject real quick. We'll kind of going back. It's the fight with the Stanionis is going to kick off the year. It's potentially, a lot have said it, social media has said it. That's potentially the fight of the year. Like, the hardcore fans know that this fight is not no joke. Like, if you're, boxing, follow it religiously, this is a fight you cannot miss.
Yeah.
And it could be a potentially fight of the year. Is that, just something also that you've heard or people have told you, like, man, this is going to be the fight that I do not want to miss,
Yeah, no, definitely. It's looking at it as a fanatic. This is a fight that really intrigues me, and I can't wait to be a part of it. Can't wait to watch it after. And that's
the preparation overall.
Yeah.
What was your overall thoughts of Bivol's performance against Ramirez? Do you think that Bivol should be in the topic of being the fighter of the year before by beating Canelo, obviously beating Gilberto Ramirez? What was your overall thoughts? Initial.
Okay,
because I know Bam's also in that conversation, so it's like Bam should be because of who he's beating.
Okay, if you're asking me Bam versus Bivol for fighter of the year, I'm gonna pick Bam, and I'm not saying that because he's my friend. I'm saying that because Bam went up in weight, took a last minute thing against Badras, and he beat him, and then he came back and defended his title against the guy that knocked out Chocolatito and stopped him. Whereas you got Bivol, where yes, Canelo is the number one pound for pound fighter, but he went up like 3 weight classes in like the past 5 years, and Canelo's challenging himself, and he lost to Bivol, and there's no shame in that. He's trying to challenge himself. That's the point, to face that kind of opposition. So Bivol beat a smaller fighter in Canelo, and Ramirez. He did his thing against Ramirez too. He did his thing against both fighters, but I just feel like if anyone deserves it, it's Bam. And it's not a knock on Bivol either, because he fought two good fighters.
Me, I'm like,
for me, it's Bam.
Yeah, I'm like, kind of like more who deserves the fight of the year.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about maybe here and there? I told your dad, but he doesn't want to do it because he says he'll take the focus away from you. Have you ever thought of maybe even doing commentary? Because there's been times when we've asked you about potential fights and you break it down, and the comments are like, wow, like I've never seen it that way. Like, when you gave your example of Lomachenko, when you gave your example of Stevenson, when you broke down Bivol Canelo, you're like, that's not going to be an easy fight. Ever thought about that, maybe?
I honestly wouldn't want to. I just don't want to because my reactions are not your typical, oh, fuck, that's me. I'm when I watch boxing, if it's a good fight, I'm not going to have my reaction, oh, nice shot. But, I can't do that. I'm going to yell. I'm going to stand up. So, I don't think I'm fit for
that. Did you catch any fights this past weekend? I know you've been busy. I know you've been traveling back and forth. Crawford and Avanesyan, and then I know.
So all those fights happened while we were on a plane back from California. So I did see the highlights of Crawford and Avanesyan. Who else fought?
Teofimo versus Sandor Martin.
I didn't get to see
a little bit of a lot of talk in that fight. Teofimo, just coming back after another fight. Just looked a little bit not himself,
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of.
It's kind of hard to comment because I didn't see the fight. I know what everyone said, but I didn't see the fight. I was on a plane. I haven't seen the Crawford fight. It was on that new promotion thing, and I was on the plane. I think someone else fought too, but I was on a plane, dude. So there really wasn't a whole lot for me to see on the internet either.
Overall, the chemistry that you had with Manny Robles, how does it feel? We know that your father is a leading trainer in training camp, obviously, and your career. Hector Beltran has always been there for you for years. How was the chemistry overall with Manny Robles being there with the fight with McKinson?
Yeah, it's really great, and I feel like what matters the most is that the team gets along, and we're all on the same page, the same game plan, and we're really good. We feel like Manny's been with us the entire time,
So I told your dad when visiting Manny, being at your training camp, I said it's like that friend that you haven't talked to in 5 years, and then you catch up with him. It's like just nothing. That's
exactly.
how I felt like the relationship between y'all was just that.
Exactly.
And that's how I felt it. Overall, just your takes on that fight with McKinson. How'd you feel? I know Did you watch the fight? Did you see, man, I kind of got to clean this up? Just anything overall now that you probably relaxed after that fight? Just overall with that thought with McKinson with the fight.
I haven't seen the fight. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen it. I've seen the highlights. I don't know where to find the fight. It wasn't on the zone the last time I checked, but I've seen the highlights. You know, I definitely could have done a lot better. I know I could. I've said it. I've said it in the post interviews. I could have done a lot better. I could have stayed composed. I could have stuck to the game plan. You know, but you know, it's just a learning experience. I know I can do better. I know I can do better. So I just got to be better the next time I fight.
It's been rumored that possibly this fight is going to take place in March, to be announced if it's going to be in Texas or in LA. You know, I spoke, or in California. I spoke with your dad obviously a few moments ago, and he said there's no particular way. Either way, we would want to fight.
Yeah.
It feels great in LA. Feels great here in Texas. You know, what makes you feel more comfortable? Well, obviously, would you like to do it? You know, this is going to be for the WBA regular title. Wouldn't you say it would feel a little bit more better to see with the people that saw you grow up here in Texas? Would you still kind of prefer that over a little bit more being LA, even though LA still gives you a lot of love? Because I've seen it, you've seen it, Dad's seen it, everybody's seen it.
It's either or, really. You know, I have a lot of love in LA, and I obviously have a lot of love here in Grand Prairie, DFW area, Texas, period. So I feel like either way, I'm gonna be treated pretty good by the fans. I think I have huge fan bases in both places. So.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.